Starting from the last point, my thoughts now are with my comrade Mirela, that is in a detention center now. She was accompanied by the police because she had a protest towards the Minister of Education as a symbol of the deterioration of higher education system from this new reform that is principally deepening the process of privatization of public goods. Well, I will maybe I can start from the organization I'm part of. Organizata Politike has been established since 2011, and it's quite a young grassroots movement. It's a collective of students and professors mostly that stands for the public goods, and especially it has the aim of the political subjectivization of exploited or excluded social groups like workers, students, or marginalized groups like Roma or LGBT people. And so far we have worked mostly in workers' rights and education field. When it comes to the context, like a more broader context, of course the situation is a bit similar, like wherever in the region. After the fall of the regime, there was a continuous process of privatization that was completely dismantling the social welfare system, and as well an increased number of unemployment, which officially it's between 20 something, but of course unofficially it may rate, or it may even be like double, especially when we talk regarding the unemployment of young people. And then we do have as well, like, we have no infrastructure from because all these trade unions were like completely hijacked from political parties. So we do have like more precarization of the workers, and completely depolitization of the society, so it's quite difficult to work now and to mobilize people on different causes. We don't really have like a leftist tradition in Albania. I mean, besides the resistance, anti-fascist resistance during the Second World War, or the students' strike that it was like it generated the fall of the regime. But in last 25 years, maybe I can mention only like two events that us as member of Organizata Politike kind of take as reference points. The first one is the event of 21st January of 2011, where for demonstrators, it was a big demonstration called by the opposition, the Socialist Party at the time, now a governing party. They were called from them regarding a big corruption affair it was done by some important, the vice minister of the time. Now it's like the head of the parliament. And it was regarding the public procurement, so like big demonstration, people were really hoping for a rotation of the government. Four demonstrators were killed by the right-wing party with the justification of breaking the prime minister premises, and nowadays nobody's taking like legal or political responsibility for their deaths. And the second event, we call it like the event of the Albanian autumn. It happened in 2013. The socialists had just came in the party, and they were like with a lot of pressure from the American embassy. We're discussing to import and dismantle of Syrian arms, chemical arms. And because of there was like completely black, no information, people were really thinking of serious ecological catastrophic situation. But beside that, we as members of Organizata Politike wanted to talk as well of this subordination that we were having towards the international superpowers, and we're trying to talk as well about the dignity of us to organize and to take a stance regarding this decision taken in upper levels. And we did have like this big slogan saying import some balls instead. And it was accompanied with new ways or new forms of protesting or different slogans in order to kind of put some more political content to what sometimes was shifting into some nationalistic folklorist protest with people singing in the street and having some even some reactionary moments. This gave the society the chance to think about their position, and as well about the fact that none of the political parties was representing them, and none of them was like seriously taking in account their social economic status. So since the time there are some spontaneous actions happening from workers or from ambientalists, but they are quite unorganized. So us as members of Organizata Politike feel the need to kind of work as catalyzers or as change actors in order to coordinate and to articulate their issues into more structural economic debate, and try to influence somehow into the public discourse by attaching or by putting in the debate some really radical for us concepts like the privatization of higher education, or like the possibility to have, for example, a free public education, which is the main slogan of the social movement for the university, for Universität, which we helped, which we're triggering to organize. This is as well like a horizontal movement between students and professors. Well, actually, professors are fewer because of the pressure from the state administration, state bureaucracy, and because students, of course, have less to lose, so it's easier for them to be reached and to organize. I do call for university like the most progressive movement we have so far, because besides working on the principles of direct democracy and solidarity, it's building up an alternative for the university we want, which came after a long process of dialogue, of occupations of faculties, of public events, of discussions, not only on the effects that the reform would have, which would be like catastrophic because of the commercialization of knowledge, because of the exclusion of poor people through higher education. We are trying to articulate as well how it would be this university egalitarian, free, and a social right to anyone. Beside us, there are as well some civilian initiatives, and I'm happy for that, especially now during the Rama government. Rama, okay, is not only the artist that has painted some facades of the buildings. It's less known about his political decisions, or about his neoliberal policies, or about the repression that he is pushing with his policies, or the fact that he is censoring all the possible critical voices coming from civil society actors, or the fact that he is pushing forward the criminalization of the poor people through demolishing the settlements and the houses of Roma people, or through persecuting the vendors in the streets, or by criminalizing the impossibility of the poor people to pay the electric bills. All this, and the fact that all these policies are happening in a really fast time with no space to react, or the fact that there is no possibility for actors to be involved in the process, into public hearings, or there is no transparency of these decisions, like the decision making, that like several decisions he has made severally recently regarding the public domain, like the privatization of public spaces, or the building of a really fancy, expensive new stadium, or the demolishing of the only green park we have in Albania by building up some weird concrete playground for children. This happened with no information, and so people are getting, besides discouraged, they are a bit disappointed. But the fact is that these are not going outside these liberal democracy demands, are happening mostly from NGO people that engage part-time with these issues. This don't have like kind of intersectionality between the causes, and are quite isolated. I haven't written down some conclusional notes on the situation in Albania, but I can really say that it's quite dynamic, especially now that we are in front of the general election in 2017, and 2 new parties have been registered, but mostly like affiliating with liberal democracy and the center. But it looks like a really potential environment to organize and to push for a leftist agenda.